All right, good morning. It's getting all organized here. Good morning, good morning. We sketch some hands for this morning's study session. Let's see. Let's do go up. All right. There we go. Let's see. Over there. I think we're going the wrong direction. The wrong angle. Oof. Good morning, everybody. Get started, huh? All right. Some hand reference that I thought looked pretty good. Good morning. Happy Sunday. I had the great pleasure of mowing my lawn this morning, so that was very exciting. Grown quite a bit during the heat wave during the week. It looked like at least like 3 inches or more. I was quite surprised by. Yeah, the problem with that smell of fresh cut grass is the inevitable sneezing that follows, which is unfortunate, but such is life, I suppose. But didn't have to. Takes me like about 20 to 30 minutes. I have like this really basic, non-motorized push mower because the yard isn't very big, so I'm gonna have to go back and edit a couple spots with the weed whacker, which I was grateful I've overbought the little plastic thread for that, since definitely finished off around a bit today. Threw that into the kit bash box. Let's see. Throw on some music or something. Go. That'll be good. Everybody does want to rule the world, right? Not that you can hear it, but holding some kind of phone or device or something. funny. I've been, for a reason, I've been, so I only had one for like a year, but lately I've been nostalgic for my mini disc player for some reason. I wish I could remember what happened to it. Um, can't remember. I looked around at my parents' place when I was there to see if it was. I got like a few boxes left there of stuff, mostly school stuff, when I was younger. But no, it wasn't there. Don't think it's here. So I'll have to figure that out. There's one. Let's do another. One of these studies, I'm trying to not, so much copy the photo as pay attention to the overall structure and the planes. So, like seeing the palm here as a box or a disc, rather than trying to just copy what I observe. So that, separating out the finger areas, then seeing the split where it really is. So it's got a crooked pinky. Let's see. I can see like there's a plane shift here with the fingers as they wrap around the shoulder of somebody. Guess I could zoom in, working a bit more. See over and down. So those are kind of lined up with each other. There. But if you're ever looking for fidelity, studying from reference in life is always where you want to be. It's one thing to kind of copy a style or whatever, but it's always where the complaints about the manga come in, or the anime. I don't think it always gets articulated very well by professors who complain about it. So, the problem why students shouldn't focus on that as a style. It's not so much that like it's not relevant or good or interesting or any of these other things. So I think for many students, especially when they're starting out, like it's a mask, because any style can be a mask, but it kind of gets in the way of any very popular thing. Kind of can get in the way of your development as an original voice. And so if you have like rote ways of doing things, it kind of stifles your ability to be you. And therein lies the problem. especially if you have like your own stories you want to tell or your own voice. That's possible. That can definitely kind of impair its development. It's always kind of there, but you can kind of get in the way of it, in the way of its emergence. And so it's not that it's not worth looking at or studying, but it shouldn't be the only thing. It's the same as if you were, say, hyper-focused on Jim Lee or Jack Kirby or whoever else. Speaking of classic American comics, I saw Bart Sears has a series on comic drawing on Kickstarter. Which I thought of maybe looking into. Uptown. This is an interesting kind of foreshortening. It's also cut off a little bit in the reference photo here. Where construction comes in handy, right? So knowing there's 3 segments in the finger here, the overall kind of gesture movement of them coming up, and the overall division. Fingers are approximately, they do get narrower and thicker, but if you're kind of looking at them as a group, they're kind of the same thickness, except for maybe the pinky. On average, there's differences obviously, but in terms of drawing them, to make it easier just to start off with them being the same, like using standard proportions for a figure drawing or something, right? Figures are obviously going to be different sizes. So that makes more sense. But depending on the individual and their background and all that, but by having like a basic canon in your head of kind of what it should be, or what a standard could be, or a default kind of assessment, makes it just a little bit easier to manipulate into something more specific. So that's what I think. I don't know what anybody else thinks, but so I could zoom in up top too. Bring it in a little bit. There we go. That'll work better for more people. Alright, we got two hands here, which I like to say it's not just drawing hands in isolation, but seeing them as a group. Put the overall gestures in there. Good morning. Goes there. Goes fiddling with something in his hands. It might be visible here, but I can't tell what it is based off of the photo. However, it got cropped. I feel like these are all like from a TV show or movies or something. How's everybody doing out there this morning? Right. Oh yeah, awesome way to warm. What do you normally leave for last? The hands or warm ups? Let's see, 20 minutes in so far. So pause it and please, I guess, hold it here. We'll do one more down here just because we've got something that'll fit. Now we'll have a nice little group. It's important to draw, right? Let's see. All right, let's close up, huh? Trying to get a lot of mileage out of these calligraphy pen lately. Trick with this kind of starting off with the right amount of ink. I think the back of this paper is a bit rougher than the other side. So I'm trying to use kind of matte. Well, maybe this is actually the front. Maybe the back is softer. Um, but I like the kind of straight line approach you can do with these, but also some of the kind of do this little thing right there with this pen, little check marks. So, some experimenting with it. I did pick up these, it's called parallel pens. And I kind of half like them. They're even more. This has got flexibility in it, which I like. You know, along with the flat tip and the parallel pens, they have like zero flexibility. But you can draw like on the corner with them, which is interesting. But the ink that it comes with, and I think you're supposed to use with it, is not waterproof. Which I don't mind for like quick sketchbooky stuff, but it gets in the way for other things, I think. But I like the flexibility this one has. And I consider using the Hunt 102s on this paper, but it burns through them really, really fast. Basically, just saws them down. Though one of the other nibs I have is moves pretty smoothly on this surface. Wraps over that way. Oh, look, we got a spammer. I'm going to go delete him off. My brush dries off here. Let's see, where are we at? Click. Bam. So that I can delete it over here. Oh, it's already gone. All right, good. Hate those. It's like, hey, you noticed your account. You get way more followers. Blah 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 blah. Join our bot network or whatever. That doesn't do anybody any good. You know, the fake interaction thing. Good morning. Yeah, let's do this one next. oh. All right, next one. Always nice to have a little dog at your feet in the morning. As long as he's comfortable, right? Everything is okay. When I mow my lawn like I had to this morning, he gets a little bit annoyed because he likes to go lay out in the lawn on the grass. But he always kind of puts himself like right in the way of where I'm going to go. And so he has to kind of keep getting up and moving. Why are you pushing me around the yard? This is really rude. Alright, and these two. Alright, wash. I'm going to get some white paint on here. Once these are done. Alright, he's just down here on the floor. I did finally bring him to school this year at the new university I'm at. I took him at my other school pretty regularly because I'd come in on the weekends, like say hang some student art or something like that. And she was like, "Why don't you bring him every day?" And I'm like, "Well, he's kind of a distraction. Not that he's, a difficult dog or anything, but definitely likes to, get out and explore and visit other people's classes, and you know." Yeah, people always like, "Come over here," try and get his attention, and he likes to play it coy, play it cool, so he'll ignore people. Not sure if he does it intentionally or not, but it definitely makes them want to get his attention even more. He does that. So just like, "I'm gonna go over here," or "I'm not gonna listen to anything that you are saying." New person I don't know, who demanding my attention. And so he definitely does that kind of thing. Which, always gets people going. Being a tease like that. But Wash knows how to play the game. So good on him. So it's like sometimes people will, especially girls, will stop us on the street to ask if they can pet him. You know, they don't want to talk to me, but they do want to talk to him. And so I always warn him, like, is it okay to pet your dog? And I'm like, well, you have to be careful. He'll break your heart. And then they want to pet him more. And it's funny because on our walks, he's very focused on the walk, so he doesn't really care. Like, he's like, oh, hi, you're a person. Nice to meet you. Can we keep moving? So, it's very dangerous, to get your heart involved with Bosch. Yeah, he's a puppy on a mission. They say, some of his favorite words, like kitty or bunny or squirrel. He's all over that. Those are almost cat-like qualities. Yeah, the funny ones are into like kids asking to pet him. Like, well, I'd always tell them like, well, if your parents say yes, or talk to your parents. Usually, their parents are right there. Um, so I always think it's a good idea, just to be sure. See, less on the street, more like if I'm hiking or something like that. Kind of thing. See some families out there. Always ask your parents. Alright, now time for the whiteout. Most dogs are nice, but every once in a while there's a mean one. Parents, always get a little bit nervous when their kids are putting their hands and faces near a small predator, even if it is very tame. So. Alright, is that dry? Should be, mostly. It'll drop. Alright. Good morning, Australia. Let's see. All these hands kind of have rim lighting in the photos. Let's see this one here. Let's see. All right, 51 minutes. That's a good spot to pause. I got a bunch of paperwork to do this morning. Then dinner with my sister's family this evening, and my nieces. Should be nice. I have a family that lives about an hour away from me. Well, it usually ends up being sometimes 2 hours away. The problem isn't so much the distance, it's where they live. Let's see, what is today? The 29th. They live up in I live in Richmond, and they live in a town called Fredericksburg, and it's exactly like an hour away. Like if the traffic is good, but the problem is it's on the way. It's in the direction of D.C. So Washington D.C. is like an hour north of them. So, well, the traffic as you kind of get closer to where they live starts to become Washington D.C. traffic. So it can sometimes take a long time to get there when it shouldn't take as long as it does. Hopefully it'll be okay today, but my sister's like, want to come up for the 4th of July? And I'm like, 4th of July traffic going toward Washington, D.C. I don't know. It doesn't seem like a great idea to me. But we'll see. That's next week, right? 4th of July. Anyway, that's it for today. So that's a good little warm-up there, I think. A little calibrated, so I can get my paperwork done, I guess, or something. But thanks everybody that came in, and we'll catch you later. Hatsi, joiki na.